Welcome to the Compendium Podcast hosted by Leadership Books. In just a moment, our host, Joseph Baker, will be joining us, along with a very special guest. Before we get started, I would like to introduce you to Joseph. He's a podcaster, event producer, writer, speaker, and audience builder. His passion is to help authors, speakers, and entrepreneurs build their audiences to monetize their leadership. Won't you please welcome our host, Joseph Baker.
Well, welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Compendium Podcast. We are here capturing this episode live at NSA 2022, the Influence Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. And with us, we have one of our represented authors, Darrell Amy. Darrell is the author of Revenue Growth Engine. I'm going to read the full thing here. How to Align Sales and Marketing to Accelerate Growth. And there goes our marker. But we'll pretend like that didn't happen.
It's all good. We're having a great time. What a great show. And this has just been such an incredible event. So many connections, so much energy. And it's just been so much fun being here with the Leadership Books team for the event. So thanks for having me in.
Absolutely. And we are about 30 minutes away to one of your book signings. You're going to be, you can't see it on camera, but off camera, we've got your book set up. Yeah. We've got posters. We're going to have a bunch of people going down this hallway, and we will be capturing people to really have a moment with you to talk about your book. So when people approach, just give us a synopsis. What do you tell people? When someone comes up to the booth and says, what's your book about? How does it help people? What do you say?
I'm passionate about helping generous business leaders grow their business. So a lot of businesses are like an engine that's not firing on all cylinders. And you look at the business and you go, if you just had those other cylinders running, you could accelerate your growth and have more impact. And Revenue Growth Engine is a guide to creating a high-performance engine for your business, to get sales and marketing working together to allow a business to actually reach its full potential.
That's awesome. And you come from, if I'm correct, really a strong marketing background, right? And then I believe you said something previously about the fact that people started to look at your processes and your strategies, realizing that really they had the potential of really growing a business overall. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, actually, I started straight out of college right into B2B sales. So I was selling technology and working, grinding it out as a sales professional, became a sales leader, and then started coaching and training salespeople. And it was about that time when I started a company, my very first client came and said, hey, Darrell, what you taught our sales team, fantastic, but our website doesn't say anything about it. Do you build websites? Had a marketing degree, said, yes, sir. But it started this journey of 18 years, so coming up on 2 decades now, of working with companies in sales development and also in terms of creating and executing their digital marketing plans.
Got it.
So what I noticed in that was sales was headed one way, marketing's doing something else. And you look in the middle, there's just this massive gap. And when I sat down to write Revenue Growth Engine and also just in the work with our clients, the question was, how can we get sales and marketing working together? How can we fill the gap and create something that performs not just for bringing in new customers, which is great, but also for taking those customers and cross-selling our entire suite of products and services to those clients, we could maximize revenue growth. And so
that's great.
Yeah, it really came out of, I think a lot of books come out of frustration.
Sure.
And just going in business after business after business and seeing this massive gap and going, okay, if we could just put this in place, then the business could accelerate growth. So that's what the book is about, and that's what we get to help businesses do now, which is so much fun.
That's awesome. Give us a real-world example. Don't have to name names if you don't want to, but just kind of a client success story. Give us a taste of a company that you have helped using this formula. Tell us about that.
I love it. I'm thinking of one particular company, and they're actually in the e-commerce space. They coach companies on how to get on Amazon and how to grow their business on all of that. It's a very interesting, fast-growth industry. And what was so exciting about this is when we went in, we helped the company develop a revenue growth plan, really a customized growth engine for their business, and get their sales team and their marketing working in the same direction. It was a bittersweet story because they sold the company. But when they sold the company, what they began to realize was, hey, now that we have documented processes in place for sales, for marketing, we call them playbooks, the company actually had a higher value to the ones that acquired, because they knew they weren't just buying the customers, they were also buying the business processes to acquire those customers and cross-sell. And so to me, that's where things get really exciting, is when you have the processes in place, when you've built out a revenue growth engine, you're not only creating revenue now, but you're also really expanding the value of your organization, because you're now able to say, hey, when you acquire our company, you're going to get a whole lot more than just a customer list.
Yes,
so
that is great.
That to me is a fantastic success story, and I love hearing stories like that.
That is great. Now you stay pretty busy these days. It seems like.
Yes.
Okay, but what's your favorite thing to do when it comes to business right now? What really gives you joy and gives you life?
Yeah, I love creating light bulb moments.
Mm-hmm.
So the light bulb moment is when we're working with a team, and we'll bring together a cross-functional team of sales leaders, marketing leaders, of course, company leaders, operations as well, because the selling and marketing doesn't stop when you close the deal; it just begins. So we'll bring together these cross-functional teams. And when the light bulb moments begin to happen, when they start to, for example, realize that good old Vilfredo Pareto, that Italian economist from several centuries ago that taught us the 80-20 rule, when they start to realize that Vilfredo Pareto is actually right, that 20% of our clients are driving 80% of our revenue, how do we get more of those people? And how do we take the ones that fit that criteria and make sure that we're maximizing our revenue per client in that area? Like, that's an example of a light bulb moment. The team will actually go and add up and say, okay, if that ideal client that we've identified actually bought everything they could buy from our business over the next 10 years, what would they be worth?
Yes.
And those are fun light bulb moments. And then, when they look at that, it's usually 20x or 30x what their average client is. And when we create that light bulb moment for the client, they're able to come in and they're able to look as a team and go, okay, I see it now. I see it. Let's go, right?
That's
and
awesome.
let's create something. And that becomes the catalyst for growth.
Yes.
And those are the types of experiences we want to create, both with the book and also with our workshops.
That's awesome. I will say, of all of the titles and of all of the designs, I'm just going to say it publicly, no offense to all the other authors we represent, but this actually is my favorite. When I see this book, it's attractive.
My gosh. Thank you.
Of course, you're a sales and marketing expert, so you better have a good look at it. If you didn't, I'd be concerned. You're not supposed
to judge a book by its cover, Joseph.
No, it's
but
true.
What do people do? We all judge a book by its cover. So, thank you for saying that. And I think getting clear about your value proposition, whatever type of company you have, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a services company, whether you're a product company, getting clear about your value proposition. And we were able to do that, I think, in the cover. So thanks a lot. That means a lot.
Yes, and that's a great marketing principle. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's very clear what you do, right? Revenue growth engine. Clarity is so important in marketing, right?
Yes.
There's a saying that I like, which is that clear is better than clever.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, my goodness,
this is extremely clear. You want to grow your revenue? Mm-hmm. Here's the engine to do it. The book leads into your consulting, coaching, other things that you offer.
Thank you.
It's very good. Ties all in together.
It's so hard not to be clever.
Yes.
I mean, really, seriously, right? And we see this all the time. We see companies that go, oh, I got this cool idea, this cool, you go, it's cool, but nobody's going to know what you're talking about. So let's get clear. And what ends up happening when you start to identify that ideal client, that 20% that's giving you the 80%, then you can start to say, okay, what are the outcomes that client's looking for? Because people don't buy your services or products. They buy the outcomes that your services and products deliver. So once you understand the outcomes, then you can get clarity on, okay, if the outcome, for example, hypothetically, is a business wants to grow revenue, why don't we title our product offering a revenue growth engine, right? And so that's where, I challenge everybody listening in to look at your business, whatever you do. Once again, if you're an author like me, if you are a product company, if you sell cosmetics, cars, it doesn't matter. Think about the outcome that you're enabling your clients to have. Clay Christensen said, we don't buy products, we hire them for a job to be done. So what's the job to be done that people are engaging you for? And then based on that, now come up with the messaging and even possibly the name of your company based around that, because that's going to give a lot of clarity.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So for those of us that have been watching and listening to this episode, and they would like to find your book, and they would like to find more about the services that you offer, how would they do that?
Well, you can actually just text the word revenue to 21,000. That's the word revenue to 21,000. You'll get access to our free toolkit. We've got a bunch of tools to help you grow revenue. And in fact, I would love, if you're not here at NSA, which you should be, by the way, if you're a speaker, we'll hope to see you here next year. This conference is amazing, but if you're not at the conference and can't swing by to get an autographed copy, when you text the word revenue to 21,000, there'll be a link there. I'd be honored to send you one if you'll just pay me shipping and handling. We'll get you an autographed copy so you can begin building your engine to grow revenue.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Darrell, for joining us today. I look forward to being a part of your book signing in just a few minutes. Thanks for all of you who are watching and listening to this very special episode of the Compendium Podcast. You can check us out at leadershipbooks.com. Thanks, Darrell, for being a part of this today.
Pleasure. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And be sure to visit us online at leadershipbooks.store. There you'll find the works of some of the finest thought leaders today. And be sure to tune in here each week to gain even deeper insights from one of those leaders on the Compendium Podcast.